up, everybody? Welcome to Under the Arch Sports. I'm Eric Hobbs.
And I'm David Woldingen.
And today we're going to preview Mizzou's matchup against the Auburn Tigers. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. Yeah, David, so it's finally happening. After joining the SEC in 2012, and here we are in 2022, Mizzou is finally going to play at Auburn, Jordan-Hare Stadium, the final SEC venue Mizzou will visit.
Yeah, it's about time. For those who have been trying to hit every single SEC stadium, you almost wanted to just make a travel visit to one of the other games down there just because it took so long to get there.
Before we get into this, we're filming this on Tuesday because David is actually heading down to Auburn this weekend. So say hi to him if you see him. And because I will be traveling as well, not going to a football game, but going to a wedding in college football season. Thanks a lot, Katie.
Shame.
Yeah. Anyway, so news may break between now and game day. With us filming a little early, we'll see. News that has broken already. Auburn quarterback TJ Finley is listed as out for this game. That's according to one of the beat writers down in Auburn. And he's out for the Missouri game, shoulder injury. So Robbie Ashford probably. We'll see. We'll talk about that in a second here. First, though, we're going to talk about Missouri offensively going against this Auburn defense. And David, it's no secret with Missouri. It's all about the offensive line. And that's really going to be the key to the season is understanding that this offensive line is going to struggle and fail to generate push consistently running the football. How do you scheme around it and game plan around it?
Yeah, right now, without the fact that, they're probably going to really struggle to get any type of running game going, you have to do quick, short passes, preferably downfield, not to the sidelines. Auburn might actually be a very good team to do this against. They haven't produced an interception this year yet defensively. So, honestly, this might be a good chance for Mizzou to take some shots downfield, hopefully across the middle, because that's something we've rarely seen this season. Yeah. I'd love to see him use Lovett and Luther Burden more. They showed glimpses of a Wildcat with Luther Burden back there. I don't know how reasonable that is to put him back there constantly just because, it's pretty obvious who the ball is going to most of the time. And with the line not blocking very well, you don't want him to get lit up behind the line of scrimmage.
And one of the things that Missouri's done with Burden and the Wildcat is kind of just a shotgun snap to Burden, and he kind of dances in the round on like a zone read, and he waits for a hole to open up. But he is more likely to dance back there while three of Mizzou's offensive linemen get knocked on their back than actually have a hole open up. So I don't think that's something that Mizzou can run really anymore this season, is a Luther Burden zone read out of the Wildcat. What you can do is have him back there, maybe a fake, and get creative with it. Maybe an end around to Dominic Lovett, or maybe he just takes off and reverse to somebody, Lovett or Mookie Cooper. I think Missouri's going to have to get very creative.
Maybe pull the old.
What's that?
I was going to say maybe pull the old Tim Tebow play from Burden to one of our tight ends that we never throw to.
That would fool everybody in the stadium and probably the tight end, Tyler Stevens or whoever. At this point, though, you may as well try it. I think Brady Cook has to throw the football probably close to 40 times. Missouri fans are probably saying, what? Brady Cook throwing 40 times? But knowing that Missouri's offense is probably not going to generate any push running the football, I think you have to just game plan around that, swallow your pride, and understand what you're working with. And understand, at least this week, the defense you're going against. As you mentioned, Auburn has not generated any interceptions yet. Their defensive line, their defense 4 sacks in 3 games, 2 of those games being San Jose State and Mercer. So, stands to reason that Missouri's offensive line, which actually is not half bad pass blocking, I think they can hold up against Auburn. And maybe Auburn gets desperate and they start blitzing, and maybe that opens things up for some shots down the middle of the football field, like you're saying, with a shot 15 yards down where maybe one of those linebackers would have been sitting in his own defense.
Well, and I'm not even saying like 15 yards downfield. A 5-yard pass up the middle does wonders. I mean, I'm just saying,
the same thing. Yeah, a linebacker could be sitting right in front of that. And if they're not generating pressure on Missouri, maybe those linebackers have to blitz. Maybe that opens up that area right there for a little dump off to Pete, or maybe a quick in route from Burden or Lovett. I think that's the only way Missouri is going to be able to be effective. Yes, you have to run the football to keep the defense honest, but I think Auburn is just going to. I think they're just going to not really respect Missouri's running game.
Well, and where you're going to get your yards rushing is scrambles by the quarterback, by Cook. And if you do start hitting those passes downfield, you might see some running lanes open up later in a game. You're playing a type of offense now, in my opinion, where you have to pass first to open up the run, just because you're not getting any push.
And one thing, if Missouri does pass close to 40 times a game, the defensive line for Auburn could wear themselves out with just pass rush after pass rush. So that could be something that plays into Missouri's hands, where they're tired, and maybe them just being a little more gassed. Maybe that opens up the running lanes a little more. We'll see. Now, moving on to when Auburn has the football, David, TJ Finley, as we said at the beginning, he is out with a shoulder injury. Don't know how long he's out, but frankly, we only play him this week, so I don't really care. I mean, let's be real. So that means probably Robbie Ashford will be the starter. He is a third-year freshman. Keep in mind, COVID year, redshirt year this year, third-year freshman. Although it could be Zach Calzada, the quarterback who was last year at A&M, and honestly did well. Torched Alabama in that big game last year. I guess he's the third string quarterback because he did not come in against Penn State. It was Robbie Ashford. He went 10 for 19 for about $150, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, ran the ball a little bit, not very effective. But Penn State's got a pretty good run defense. With Ashford, you do have that dual threat aspect. So that could be part of the thinking. You're also looking at Tank Bigsby. That is the running back for Auburn. He is pretty good, David. But he, contrary to what the name might suggest, he's not necessarily a big bruising running back.
Yeah. He averages 6.2 yards, more of a shifty back. I believe you
same
called him
size as Luther Burden, honestly.
Yeah. I was going to say, you compared him to Luther Burden in size comparative wise. I would say he's a step under Deuce from Kansas State.
Deuce Vaughn, yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's still fast and can get the job done. So, what I'm looking for on the Mizzou defensive side is maybe containing both Ashford and him and forcing Auburn, to throw over the top. Force them to go into one-dimensional passing style, kind of like we already are.
It's kind of the same concept, but the reverse. When you're talking about Missouri defensively, Auburn is probably going to sell out to keep Missouri from throwing the football down the field, make Missouri's running game prove that they can win the game. Missouri is going to try and shut down the running game and make Auburn prove they can throw the football. I think that's going to be the name of the game.
And to comment on that, Mizzou's run defense is pretty solid. They didn't do a half bad job stopping Deuce. The problem in the K-State game was Mizzou had 3 interceptions that went against them and put the defense in a bad.
Four straight possessions.
Yeah, 4. Thank you. That just like destroyed field position and the momentum of our defense. So the defense, I expect to play a very solid game. Another thing I mentioned is Auburn's offense does have a tendency to turn the ball over. So if it happens in a game, Mizzou really needs to take that and find a way to turn those into points, turn that momentum, especially on the road, into their favor. Auburn is -7 in the turnover range this year, so it is a possibility for Mizzou.
Yeah, I mean, -7. That's rough, David. In 3 games, and 2 of them are Mercer and San Jose State.
Yeah. So the opportunity is going to be there.
Yes.
I feel like this game is just going to be a train wreck on both sides offensively.
Yeah.
I believe the over-under was set at like 51.5. For this game, I would definitely hit the under.
Absolutely.
And I say this with a grain of salt because the moment we mention all this, it's going to be like a 50-52 game or something.
Yeah. We're talking about both offenses are a train wreck, and Auburn's got not their starter out, and Mizzou can't run the football. Get ready for 50-49 as soon as we say all this. But no, I agree with you. I would absolutely hammer the under 51.5. For Missouri to win this game, as you mentioned, they're going to have to be, I think, +2 in the turnover department. Just because Auburn has shown that they can be turnover prone. They have to force those turnovers. As for my prediction of what will happen, as you said, this game's going to be train wreck, pillow fight, whatever you want to call it. Until Missouri's offense can show any sort of anything resembling a pulse when it comes to running the football, I can't pick them to be competitive, much less win the football game. I do think Missouri's defense will hold up fairly well. I'm going to pick Auburn to win and cover. I've got them 24-9 over Mizzou.
And while I 100% agree with your prediction, and it like really, really goes against everything I say about picking Mizzou to win, because I really don't think they can win this game either. I'm picking them to win 21-17. And
just to go with the preseason pick.
Yeah, part of the reason why is I had them winning this game on the preseason. So to get to 7-5, I need them to win this game. Do I think it will happen? Do I think it will happen? Not really. Do I hope it will? Sure. But like you said, I'm not going to believe it until I see it, and hopefully I get to see it live, because how sweet it would be to pull off a victory down there.
Oh man, that'd be stunning. A lot of debate as to if that would be the final nail in Harson's coffin there, because it seems like there's no chance he makes it past this season. But the Auburn, the mega donors down there, they may insist on cutting bait right then and there if Mizzou to win this game,
which would be a lot of fun on our side. But anyway, until the game happens, if more news happens, stay tuned to Under the Arch Sports. We'll have you updated. Until then, though, thank you for watching. We'll see you.